United we're as strong.
So this is Steve Zeltzer with Workweek, and we have a situation in Los Angeles for the last few days of attacks on immigrants and others. And joining us today is Cliff Smith. He's business manager of Roofers Local 36. He's been active in the immigrants movement and labor movement, fighting for the rights of immigrants and fighting against the attack on working people. So, Cliff, why don't you talk about what started this confrontation? It seems like the Trump administration has kind of orchestrated this whole situation in Los Angeles. What happened?
A few days ago, Trump dispatched his immigration agents to conduct work site sweeps at a downtown fashion district company, as well as a Home Depot, where they picked up a few dozen low wage workers and day laborers, apparently just arbitrarily, no sign that there was any targeting of uh, accused criminals. This is just a direct attack on vulnerable workers in Los Angeles.
And their position is that these workers are illegal. What is the position of you and the labor movement around these arrests that are going on?
Well, these are workers that contribute to the community. They contribute to the economy. They pay taxes. They're part of the productive forces of our city. There's certainly no threat to national security. This is an attack that's designed to divide the working class, to fragment us, but it's an attack on the entire working class.
Now, under Project 2025, uh, it says that they want to get rid of undocumented workers. They also want to bust unions, public worker unions, and all unions. Do you think this is part of the attack on the working class in this country?
Well, that's exactly what it is, and it's most clearly focused in the arrest and detainment of the president of the California Service Employee Union, David Huerta, who was peacefully protesting these immigration sweeps.
And I know that unions have been discussing some kind of action. The SEIU has called for protests around the country. What should the unions do? Because it seems like this is just the beginning, and that the Trump administration are looking for a pretext to impose martial law. Are you concerned about this fascist government actually using this confrontation to impose martial law nationally?
There will be a large demonstration at 2 p.m. tomorrow, called by SEIU and also being promoted by the local Los Angeles County Federation of Labor, as well as the State Federation of Labor and Building and Construction Trades Council, in conjunction with nationwide union actions tomorrow. Um, the labor movement needs to quickly develop a strategy to defend the working class, to defend its membership in our communities. For too long, we've tried to play nice with immigration enforcement, play nice with the ruling class, as it sets these policies, and this has been under administrations governed by both parties. But Trump is escalating these to a new level, and as you use the correct word, fascism.
And what do you think the union should do nationally? Because obviously, what's going on in Los Angeles is not probably going to be an isolated incident. There are raids going on all over the country. And the report from the SEIU is that the immigrant community is being completely terrorized. They're picking up children, they're picking up parents, they're terrorizing, and there are a million immigrant workers in Los Angeles, a large number of immigrant workers, 35% of the working people of Los Angeles are immigrants. Are you concerned that the labor movement is not acting as a mass force to say enough is enough?
Well, that's why we're in the position that we're in. If the labor movement was in a mass force, then Trump would not be the president, and we would not be dealing with this level of threat. but we're here now, and the labor movement needs to find its center, its heart, and its backbone immediately. There needs to be swift and concerted uh, counteraction to offset these threats and these attacks. The greatest power that the labor movement has is to withhold its labor. There have been some ideas floated of strikes taking place on May 1st of 2028 or May 1st of next year, but that's too far off into the future. Events are escalating quickly, and the labor movement needs to take action to show that if working people are not going to be permitted to live in peace and without fear of threat, then the entire economy can be brought to a halt.
And it seems that Trump is actually targeting California. He wants to shut off funds and all kinds of programs in California directly. And I just heard a report today that he's telling cities and counties they're not going to get any federal funds unless they agree to cooperate with ICE in these raids.
And that's all, very convenient for him. California is the fourth largest economy in the world as a state. Los Angeles County has the largest immigrant population of any county in the United States. So, he wants to focus his attack here, but to threaten the economy of California is not going to end well for the nation as a whole. The geographic areas that are most supportive of Trump and his policies are the ones that are most in need of California's production and economic contribution to the national economy. But we should also consider that all of this, in some sense, is theater and a distraction from Trump's looting of the federal budget through his budget bill that he's attempting to pass that really nobody's talking about anymore. It's a distraction from his failed tariff debacle, trying to escalate conflict with the entire world, and which all is blowing up in his face. And so he's trying to bring everybody's attention to imagine a national security threat in the parking lots of Home Depot, which everybody in Los Angeles knows is a complete farce.
And one of the effects of this tariff trade war is I understand that traffic at the Los Angeles ports, San Pedro and LA is down 50%. It's going to lead to shortages, and large numbers of workers are losing their jobs. Is this again part of the attack on the working class in this country? And why are some unions, like the leadership of the UAW and Teamsters, supporting this trade war?
I can't speak, directly for what their motives are, but what it appears to be is that they think that somehow by kowtowing to Trump, that they're going to gain some favored position. But as you're saying, the impact that it's having is deteriorating economic conditions. The Teamsters represent truckers. The Teamsters represent uh, many workers that are in the delivery business, and to shut down the supply lines, to shut down the ports, to throttle uh, the passaging of goods and materials through these ports. It directly impacts the jobs, the livelihoods of workers that the Teamsters represent. Sean Fain talked a good game representing the auto workers. He's called for a national strike in 2028, but the idea is that he's perpetrating that somehow tariffs benefit workers in the United States. It's driving up costs, it's making things more expensive. It's threatening entire economies. It's threatening his members' jobs in auto plants. It's completely counterproductive. And again, whatever short-lived gain that uh, the Teamsters president or the auto workers president think that they're going to get from this is going to be quickly, overcome by all the the threats, the dangers to their membership, to the working class as a whole.
Historically, when capitalism is in crisis, you have imperialist wars, trade wars. They tried to pit workers against each other, American workers against Chinese workers, blaming the Chinese. it seems like that's the period that we're in. Business unionism, which dominates the American trade union movement, why is that a fundamental problem to dealing with this crisis?
Because at its core, business unionism uh, tries to align the working class of one nation behind its own capitalist class. It is trying to resolve the contradictions between capitalism and the working class, and make the working class subservient to its national capitalists, and make them fight against the workers from another country. Which, without solidarity internationally across all borders, the working class has no power at all.
And you've also run as an independent workers candidate in Los Angeles. Why do you think it's necessary that workers have their own political party? It seems like the Democrats, as you were saying earlier, have supported his immigration bills to make it more difficult for immigrants, more police, more military on the border. Trump wants to put another $150 billion into ICE, into militarization of the border and police. What would a Labor Party do? What kind of program would a Workers' Party have to defend workers in this country? Do you think that's one of the reasons Trump was elected? There was a political vacuum in this country?
Well, yeah, it's absolutely the reason why he was elected. We showed that he could be defeated. He was defeated by the popular vote in two elections, and to have allowed him to seize power legitimately is an abject failure, a catastrophic failure on behalf of the union leadership of the AFL-CIO and the labor movement.
And do you see that out of this struggle against this fascist government, there can be a political development? Because it seems that more and more workers are waking up, trade unions are waking up, that this is a existential crisis as far as democratic rights and the rights of workers to organize and defend themselves.
Well, it's necessary that we find our way to organize ourselves independently. Otherwise, there's no future.
So what can people do? What can workers do, trade unions do to organize to defend against further attacks and potential of martial law shutting down all democratic rights in this country?
Immediately, we need to build a united front against fascism, involving all forces that oppose fascism, separately. But within that, the working class needs to develop its own independent level of organization. It needs to expose and oppose all purported leadership that doesn't represent our interests, that tries to compromise and capitulate to fascism and to capitalism.